No, it's not the Bismarck. That's the Bismarck. That's the Tirpitz, the sister ship. I was contemplating doing this as my Kriegsmarine and my Royal Navy together, and then I laid out the Kriegsmarine and realised there's a lot of them. So for the moment I will do the Kriegsmarine alone, and then we'll see how it goes. Just straighten up one of the undersea bolts. And then when I say it's kind of a big force, I think I have, most of the Kriegsmarine in reality. Yeah, let's have a look-see. So we'll start down at the bottom and work our way around. So some of the more probably the smaller ships I actually have are these Schnellboats, S-boats. Why I have them is an excellent question. I don't know. I must have bought them and just thought, do you know what, why not? Next up for small size are the Wolf class. So I have the Wolf and her sister ships, the Leopard and the Iltis. These are little, basically torpedo boats, or big torpedo boats, small destroyers. I'm not too sure how to really describe them. And for that sneaky factor, Type 7s, undersea boats. Randomly just numbered up because I kind of felt like it. So that's sort of the weirder stuff. We'll drift across more small boats and go the destroyers. These are, roughly speaking, the premature Narvik classes of varying ages. So we're talking 39 versions, 40, 42 versions. So I have quite a few of these, all numbered up roughly to the correct numbering specs as they are. So the lower numbers, I believe, are the newer versions, as they would be. The older ones, again, being the earlier ones, sort of 38s, 39s, 40 variants. As with my World War I warships, these are all from Navwar. The destroyers, I believe, came in packs of 2, perhaps 3. The big capital ships, so things like the Scharnhorst, though I'm jumping ahead a little bit there. And the big capital ships all come as individual ships because it's just the way it kind of runs. That's the way he goes it. And then, however, these three, so I can jump up. So we have Emden, a little light cruiser, Leipzig, and Nürnberg, all sort of 6-inch gun cruisers, sort of light cruisers for the Kriegsmarine. They came as a pack of 3 ships. I then have a Deutschland class, the Graf Spee specifically, or the Deutschland, depending on at what point she was floating around in the Atlantic, or whether she was in the Indian Ocean. Rename a ship while you're out at sea, because if no one can see you, you can claim to be something else. And her bestest buddy in the whole wide world, the Altmark, because you need a little bit of support for a fleet this humongous. As you've already seen, the Tirpitz and quintessential Bismarck, and then a bit more of the heavy guns, so the 8-inch gun cruisers, the Prinz Eugen and the Admiral Hipper. Moving over to the battle cruisers, again, you could argue there's a debate, because again there is a debate here, because the Scharnhorst and the Gneisenau are battle cruisers, small battleships. There is an argument I've heard that the Tirpitz and the Bismarck are in fact not battleships but battle cruisers, because they are too fast to be battleships, but they also don't quite work out. I don't know. I'm happy enough just to say these are battleships. These two are battle cruisers. These are heavy cruisers. Again, it's following that classical. Carefully I say this. The classical idea of the 8-inch cruiser being a heavy cruiser, the 6-inch cruisers such as these 3 being more along the lines of a light cruiser. And because it's always fun to do the Graf Zeppelin, I have a fantasy ship. Now, hilariously, she did get laid down, she did get launched, she just never got completed. So, yeah, I have got some bases with Stukas and M109, so I can fly them off my pretend aircraft carrier. And let me just think now. Yeah, that's it. So I have 3, 6, 9, 12 destroyers, 3 torpedo boats, 3 submarines, 3 S-boats, light cruisers, some heavy cruisers, battleships, and as I said, because again, the Graf Spee is a bit of an interesting one, because it's a pocket battleship because of the size of the guns. but it's probably more in lines with between the battle cruisers Gneisenau and the heavy cruisers Hipper and Neugen. So there's an interesting debate to have. She has torpedoes, she has very large guns, I think it's 12-inch guns mounted on her. Yeah. Good advantages with most of these battleships, I can do the scenarios that you get in Victory at Sea, which allow you to run things like the hunt for the Bismarck, the initial engagement, which is basically the initial engagements, and the death of the Bismarck. Also, you can play the Battle of the River Plate, as I have the graph here. Just as a quick one, these are the World War II versions of the rules. So the original is Victory at Sea, which then had Dreadnoughts as its World War I incarnation, and Order of Battle is the supplement, which gives you lots of aircraft, some amendments to the rules, more warships for all the various fleets. It also, I believe, adds in the French Navy, and in fact, I will quickly double check, because you get a lot more stuff on aircraft, because you still have, because you get a lot of stuff on aircraft, you get more warships, and in some cases just you get some pretend, actually that's wrong, pretend warships is wrong. You get some of the stuff that would have been around in 1945 and things like that in here. We have in this book, just trying to find the main list. Nope, you're not going to tell me the main list. So yeah, so in this case with the Royal Navy you get amendments to the original one. So target score should be 5, and she gets the radar trait. Illustrious class cruisers go to a raid, not a skirmish priority. HUD gets radar trait and should be battle, not war, so that's the level of game that you will be playing with. And it also expands it out that you get more aircraft destroyers, some variants of destroyer, submarines, and a few other bits and bobs to play with, and some anti-aircraft guns. You get extras for the United States Navy. Here we have IJN, so Imperial Japanese Navy ships added on, with plenty of aircraft added. Here is the Italian fleet. You get the French Navy, which is in there. Oh, probably so, yeah. So that's what Order of Battle does. It also gives you a couple of big scenarios. Let's see if I can find this very quickly. There is actually a list somewhere in here. I should have a list. If not, I'll have to go to the front. Yeah, let's just talk about the Navy. So here we go, yeah. So the fleet list you get in the original book is the Royal Navy, the Kriegsmarine, the US Navy, the Imperial Japanese Navy, Italian Navy, and French Navy, and civilian ships, which would allow you to run convoys of things like that, which I do have some, but they're with the Royal Navy, because why wouldn't they be? Because it's going to be the Germans hunting them, not to the Royal Navy. The Royal Navy totally doesn't have raiding cruisers. Looks at the Belfast. Right, we'll call it quits there for the moment. I will contemplate. You might just get this one, and then I will dig out the Royal Navy, and we can have a look at the gloriousness that is His Most Imperial Britannic Majesty's ships of the line.